In the bustling city of Chicago, where autumn leaves danced on concrete sidewalks, Jay Park walked into Stellar Subs with a typical lunch mission. He was a 32-year-old corporate lawyer, known for his precise nature and attention to detail. The small sandwich shop was nothing special. Bright fluorescent lights, white tile floors, and the constant sizzle of meat on the grill. Jay approached the counter, his crisp navy blazer slightly wrinkled from a morning of back-to-back meetings. The young server, a college student named Kira, smiled and asked for his order. "One meatball sub, please," Jay said, his voice calm and measured. As Kira prepared the sandwich, Jay noticed something peculiar. The meatballs seemed slightly off-center, and the bread-to-meat ratio appeared mathematically incorrect. Most people would have ignored such a minor detail, but not Jay. His legal mind immediately began analyzing the potential discrepancy. When the sandwich was handed to him, Jay examined it carefully. The meatballs were approximately 2.5 centimeters from the expected positioning. The bread, cut at an angle of 43 degrees instead of the standard 45, seemed almost deliberately imprecise. To an ordinary customer, this would mean nothing. To Jay, it represented a systemic failure of quality control. He took a bite, his taste buds confirming what his eyes had already detected. The meatballs were slightly overcooked, the marinara sauce lacking the recommended temperature consistency. These were not mere culinary errors. These were procedural violations. Unknown to Jay, a small monitoring device, hidden in the shop's lighting fixture, was recording everything. The device belonged to an advanced research team from a distant planetary system, studying human behavioral patterns and social interactions. Hoon Kim, the lead researcher of this alien observation team, watched the live feed with intense curiosity. His holographic display showed Jay's precise movements, facial expressions, and the subtle changes in his body language as he analyzed the sandwich. "Fascinating," Hoon muttered to himself, adjusting the monitoring frequencies. The human's reaction to a seemingly insignificant food preparation issue was proving to be more complex than any of their previous data models had predicted. Jay finished his sandwich, his mind already preparing potential legal arguments. Not that he intended to create a major dispute, but the inconsistencies needed documentation. He pulled out a small notebook, a habit from his legal training, and began making detailed notes. Height of meatballs, 2.5 centimeters deviation. Bread angle, 43 degrees, standard should be 45. Marinara temperature, approximately 2 degrees below recommended serving point. Each note was written with surgical precision, timestamps included. This was more than a lunch complaint. This was a potential case study in corporate food service standards. The alien research team continued monitoring, their advanced sensors capturing every microscopic detail of Jay's behavior. They had observed thousands of human interactions, but this particular moment seemed different. There was a systematic approach, a methodical processing of information that suggested something profound about human cognitive capabilities. Jay paid for his meal, left a standard tip, and walked out of Stellar Subs. To an outside observer, nothing extraordinary had occurred. But for the alien researchers and for Jay himself, this moment was the beginning of something unexpected. Little did Jay know that his meticulous nature and commitment to precision would soon transform from a simple lunch experience into an interstellar event that would challenge everything known about human potential and alien perception. As he walked down the Chicago street, the autumn wind carrying fallen leaves around his feet, Jay Park was unaware that his sandwich would become the catalyst for humanity's most remarkable cosmic introduction. The research team continued monitoring, their excitement growing with each analyzed data point. Something significant was brewing, and it all started with a slightly misaligned meatball sub. In the vast, dark expanse of space, aboard the research vessel Quantum Observer, Hoon Kim reviewed the data from Earth. His team of alien researchers had been studying human behavior for decades, but this sandwich incident intrigued them more than any previous observation. The monitoring device had captured every microscopic detail of Jay Park's interaction at Stellar Subs. Hoon zoomed in on the digital recording, watching Jay's precise movements and analytical approach to a seemingly mundane lunch experience. Most species in the galaxy would have simply eaten the sandwich and moved on, but not this human. Sarah, Hoon's research assistant, adjusted the holographic display. Her tentacle-like appendages moved swiftly across the control panel, enhancing the video resolution. "Look at how he documents everything," she said, her translation device converting her native language into perfect English. The research team had categorized humans as an emerging species, unpredictable, emotional, yet surprisingly systematic. This sandwich incident challenged their existing classification models. Jay's behavior demonstrated a level of precision that most advanced civilizations took centuries to develop. Back on their home planet, located in a star system 3,000 light-years from Earth, the Research Council was becoming increasingly interested in this human specimen. Preliminary reports suggested that Jay's approach to a simple food quality issue represented something more significant. Hoon began compiling a comprehensive report. Each movement, each written note, each facial expression was meticulously analyzed. The computer generated complex algorithms attempting to understand the human's thought process. Why would someone spend time documenting such a minor discrepancy? The research vessel's advanced tracking systems continued monitoring Jay Park. They followed his movements through city surveillance, digital communication logs, and public transportation records. Every piece of data added another layer to their understanding. What the aliens didn't realize was that Jay was preparing something. His notes from the sandwich incident were being organized, cross-referenced, and prepared for potential legal documentation. Years of legal training had taught him that details matter, no matter how small. In the ship's main research chamber, holographic projections showed Jay's daily routine. His work as a corporate lawyer, his precise morning coffee order, his exact 45-minute workout routine. Everything seemed to follow a carefully planned pattern. Sarah noticed something unique. "Look at how he approaches problems," she told Hoon. "Most species react. This human prepares, analyzes, and then responds with calculated precision." The research team had observed thousands of civilizations, but humans presented a unique puzzle. They were emotional yet logical, chaotic yet structured. Jay Park embodied this complexity perfectly. As days passed, the research team continued their observation. They didn't just see a man who was upset about a sandwich. They saw a representative of a species with extraordinary potential for systematic thinking and precise problem-solving. Who knew this observation could change everything? Humans were not just another developing species. They were something more. A civilization on the brink of understanding complex systemic interactions that most advanced races took millennia to comprehend. The sandwich incident was no longer just a simple food quality complaint. It had become a window into human cognitive capabilities, a micro-example of how this species approached challenges, documented problems, and sought resolution. Little did Jay know that his simple act of noting sandwich details was being watched by an advanced alien research team, who saw in his actions a glimpse of humanity's true potential. His meticulous nature, his commitment to precision, was about to become something far more significant than a lunch complaint. As the Quantum Observer continued its silent monitoring, the research team prepared their next move. Jay Park, a simple lawyer from Chicago, was about to become the most important human in galactic research history. The observation continued, the data accumulated, and the potential of one human's extraordinary approach to a simple meatball sub began to unfold in the vast, silent darkness of space. One ordinary Tuesday morning, Jay Park received a strange envelope at his law office. No return address, no postal markings, just his name carefully written in a peculiar shimmering ink that seemed to change colors when he looked at it directly. Inside the envelope was an invitation written in perfect English, but with mathematical equations and strange symbols bordering the text. The invitation requested his presence at an intergalactic legal symposium, to represent Earth in a unique judicial challenge. Most people would have dismissed this as an elaborate prank. Judd, however, carefully examined the document. His legal training kicked in immediately. The mathematical equations were complex, but followed a logical sequence. The symbols, while alien, suggested a structured communication system. Attached to the invitation was a holographic projector no larger than a credit card. When activated, it displayed a three-dimensional representation of a cosmic courtroom, with beings from various planetary systems seated in what appeared to be judgment positions. The challenge was simple yet bizarre. Demonstrate humanity's legal and systematic approach to conflict resolution using the most unexpected case study possible. And the chosen case, Jay's Meatball sub-complaint. Sarah and Hoon from the alien research team watched carefully as Jay's initial reaction unfolded. They had carefully selected him based on months of behavioral analysis. His precise nature, his commitment to detail, and his professional background made him the perfect representative. Jay's first reaction was professional skepticism. He consulted colleagues, ran background checks, and even contacted government agencies. Nothing matched the invitation's origin. Yet something about the document's complexity intrigued him. The holographic projector continued to display information. It showed potential travel routes, translation protocols, and most interestingly, a comprehensive breakdown of his sandwich complaint documentation. Every note he had written, every observation he had made was meticulously recorded. On the 7th day after receiving the invitation, Jay made a decision. He would attend, not out of adventure or curiosity, but as a professional obligation. If this was a legitimate legal challenge, he would approach it with the same systematic method he applied to all his cases. Preparations began immediately. Judd collected all his original documents about the sandwich incident. He created detailed presentations, cross-referenced food service regulations, and developed a comprehensive argument about quality control and consumer rights. The alien research team celebrated silently. Hoon noted to Sarah, "Humans are remarkable. Instead of dismissing the impossible, they analyze and prepare." Jay's preparation was thorough. He studied potential communication protocols, prepared multiple presentation formats, and even consulted linguistic experts about potential communication challenges. His approach was not about proving humanity's superiority, but demonstrating its systematic problem-solving capabilities. As the date of the symposium approached, strange things began happening. Digital communications became slightly distorted. Electronic devices around Jay would occasionally flicker. His colleagues noticed he seemed both excited and professionally composed. The invitation specified no specific location or time zone. Instead, it suggested Jay would be transported when the cosmic court was ready. He found this detail both scientifically impossible and curiously logical. On the night before the supposed symposium, Jay packed a professional briefcase with his documentation. He included not just his sandwich complaint materials, but also comprehensive legal references, standardization guidelines, and consumer protection frameworks. What Jay didn't know was that his selection was no random choice. The alien research team had spent months analyzing human behavior, and he represented something far more significant than a simple lawyer with a sandwich complaint. The universe was about to witness something unprecedented. A human about to represent an entire planet's approach to justice, conflict resolution, and systematic thinking, all triggered by a slightly misaligned meatball sub. As Judd Park prepared for what might be the most unusual legal challenge in human history, the cosmic courtroom awaited his arrival, ready to evaluate humanity's potential through one man's meticulous documentation. The cosmic courtroom was unlike anything Jay had ever imagined. Floating platforms made of translucent energy, beings with multiple limbs and shifting forms, and an atmosphere that seemed to breathe with its own consciousness. Yet, Jay remained calm, his navy blue suit pressed, his legal documents neatly organized. 3 primary judges sat at the center, each representing different galactic civilizations. Their forms were difficult to comprehend. One appeared as a cluster of interconnected light particles, Another resembled a crystalline structure that continuously reshaped itself, and the third looked like a swirling nebula with occasional solid manifestations. Jay was given a universal translator, but he quickly realized his precise English was more effective than the device's translations. He stepped forward, his footsteps creating ripples of energy across the courtroom floor. "Distinguished Cosmic Tribunal," he began, his voice steady and professional. "I am here to present a case that demonstrates humanity's approach to systemic problem resolution." The judges leaned forward, their collective consciousness scanning every millimeter of Jay's body language, every subtle nuance of his presentation. Jay unfolded his documentation about the Meatball sub. He explained not just the physical discrepancies, but the underlying principles of consumer rights, quality control, and systematic documentation. Each point was presented with mathematical precision, supported by diagrams, statistical analyses, and legal frameworks. Hoon and Sarah watched from a monitoring station, their excitement growing. Jay was doing more than presenting a case. He was revealing the cognitive complexity of human problem-solving. The cosmic judges began asking questions. Their inquiries were not just about the sandwich, but about human organizational structures, legal systems, and conflict resolution mechanisms. Jay answered each question methodically, providing context, historical references, and logical reasoning. What made his presentation extraordinary was not just the content, but his approach. He didn't argue aggressively or emotionally. Instead, he presented information as a scientist would present research, objective, detailed, and systematically structured. One judge, represented by the light particle cluster, asked a complex question about human variability. How could a species with such diverse individual perspectives maintain consistent systemic approaches? Jay's response was brilliant. He explained how human diversity actually contributed to robust problem-solving. Different perspectives, when channeled through structured systems, created more comprehensive solutions. The Meatball subcomplaint was a micro-example of this larger principle. Hours passed, though time seemed fluid in this cosmic space. Jay's presentation transformed from a simple food complaint into a comprehensive analysis of human potential. He discussed legal evolution, consumer protection mechanisms, and the fundamental human drive to seek fairness and precision. The alien observers were stunned. They had expected a simple presentation, but were witnessing a sophisticated demonstration of human cognitive capabilities. Jay was not just representing himself or even just Earth. He was representing humanity's systemic thinking approach. As his presentation concluded, something unexpected happened. The cosmic courtroom's energy shifted. The judges began communicating among themselves through complex light patterns and energy exchanges that defied traditional communication models. Jay stood silently, professional and composed, waiting for their response. He had done what he always did in legal proceedings, presented facts, maintained composure, and let the evidence speak for itself. The light particle judge finally spoke, its voice resonating through the courtroom. Humanity's representative has demonstrated a remarkable approach to systemic problem resolution. Your species shows potential far beyond initial galactic assessments. Jay simply nodded, maintaining his professional demeanor. He didn't celebrate or show excessive emotion. This was a legal proceeding, and he would treat it with the same respect he gave any professional engagement. Little did Jay know that his presentation about a Meatball sub would become a pivotal moment in humanity's cosmic recognition. What began as a simple lunch complaint had transformed into a comprehensive evaluation of human potential. The cosmic courtroom dissolved around him, with Jay standing exactly as he had started, precise, professional, and ready for whatever challenge came next. When Jay opened his eyes, he found himself back in his Chicago law office. For a moment, he wondered if the entire cosmic legal symposium had been an elaborate dream. The clock on his wall showed the same time as when he had first received the strange invitation. But something was different. His briefcase contained new documents, cosmic seals, and mathematical symbols he had never seen before. A small holographic device sat quietly on his desk, occasionally emitting soft, pulsing light. Days passed. Jay continued his normal routine, but strange occurrences began happening around him. Electronic devices responded more precisely to his commands. Complex mathematical equations seemed to solve themselves in his presence. His colleagues noticed he appeared slightly different, more focused, more connected. The alien research team, led by Hoon and Sarah, monitored Earth closely. Their initial observation of a simple Meatball sub-complaint had transformed into something much larger. Jay had become an unexpected ambassador for human potential. One evening, a transmission arrived, not through traditional communication channels, but through a quantum frequency that appeared directly on his computer screen. The message was clear. Humanity had been granted a unique status in the galactic community. The cosmic verdict was unprecedented, based on Jay's presentation about systematic problem-solving. Demonstrated through his meticulous sandwich complaint, Earth was now considered a developing advanced civilization with potential diplomatic recognition. Diplomatic recognition meant several things. Earth would receive advanced technological insights, access to cosmic communication networks, and a probationary status among galactic civilizations. All of this stemmed from one lawyer's detailed documentation about a Meatball sub's imperfect preparation. Whom explained to Sarah, humans are remarkable. They can transform the most mundane situation into a complex systemic analysis. Jay didn't just present a complaint, he presented a philosophy of problem-solving. Government agencies began receiving strange communications. Encrypted messages appeared in scientific laboratories. Research institutions found themselves receiving unexplained technological upgrades. No one could trace the source, but everything pointed back to Jay's cosmic legal presentation. Jay himself remained unchanged. He continued his legal work, handled corporate cases, and maintained his precise approach to everything. He didn't discuss the cosmic symposium, believing professional discretion was paramount. The holographic device on his desk occasionally projected star maps, mathematical sequences, and brief glimpses of alien communication protocols. Only Jay seemed unperturbed by these extraordinary occurrences. Researchers who studied Jay noticed subtle changes. His problem-solving skills had become almost supernatural. Complex legal cases that would typically take months were now resolved in days. His intuition seemed enhanced, his analytical skills sharper. The cosmic verdict was more than a diplomatic decision. It was a recognition of human potential, the ability to find systematic solutions in the most unexpected places. A Meatball sub had become the unexpected key to humanity's cosmic introduction. Strange scientific anomalies began occurring around Jay. Quantum physicists noticed localized probability shifts near his office. Mathematical models seemed to reconfigure themselves in his presence. Yet, Jay remained calm and professional. Hoon and Sarah continued monitoring, knowing they had witnessed something extraordinary. A single human, through his meticulous approach to a minor food complaint, had opened cosmic diplomatic channels that would transform human understanding forever. As weeks passed, Jay received occasional encrypted communications, star charts, mathematical sequences, and brief glimpses of cosmic protocols appeared randomly. He treated them like any other professional document, carefully filed and systematically archived. The universe had made its decision. Humanity was no longer just an emerging species. Through Jay's presentation, they had proven themselves as a civilization with extraordinary potential for systematic thinking, precise problem-solving, and unexpected diplomatic capability. All because of a Meatball sub that was slightly misaligned. The cosmic verdict was clear. Humans were ready for their first steps into a larger, more complex universal community.